Introduction on Learning Animals Speak. Nature has filled my life. I was fortunate in spending most of my childhood among woods, ponds, creeks, and fields. Animals have always come to me in dreams and in waking. They have guided me in life decisions, and they even spoke to me of my father's death. I have seen the wolf in the wild, eye to eye. And I have encountered moose, bear, porcupines, and otters. I have held hawks, owls, and even a golden eagle upon my arm. And I have been nipped by a fox. I have fed vultures and marveled at the bellowing of elk on a distant hill. Crows call to me every morning. And ravens guided me once when lost. I have held a fragile seahorse in my hand and followed a great green moray eel to a depth of 150 feet. And hawks always watch over me when I travel. And with it all, I am always amazed at the wonder of nature, its multiplicity, and especially at what it is saying to me about my own life at the time of such encounters. I look for what it is trying to teach me. I know nature speaks to us if we listen. Every animal has a story to tell. Every flower blossoms with reminders to be creative, and every tree whispers with its rustling leaves the secrets of life. As a lifelong student of mysticism, with a formal background in literature and linguistics, I have found within most scriptures and mythologies of the world a vein of lore surrounding the spirits of animals and the belief that the divine forces speak to humans through the natural world. Humans were as much a part of the natural world as the natural world was a part of them. Animals and nature are not the domain of any one society or segment of society. All peoples are touched by them. Today, it is not uncommon to hear people speak of trying to get back to nature, to get in touch with Earth once more. The truth is, we have never been out of touch. We are always connected to the Earth, and it is connected to us. Everything we do repercusses upon it, and everything within it repercusses on us. Unfortunately, most choose to ignore it or are unable to recognize it. The saddest part is that when we fail to reverence any aspect of nature and our intimate connection to it, we are failing to reverence intimate aspects of our own self. I am a part of the natural world. As part of it, I have a responsibility to know as much about the environment in which I am living. The more I understand it, the more I understand myself. I have made a point of trying to understand my environment and all life, human and animal within it. To some, this may make me an amateur naturalist, but I am simply trying to speak the language of life. If you were to move to a foreign country, you would have to learn the language of that country to survive and be productive. The more you understood the intricacies of that language, its dialects and uses, the more effective you would become within your life. The easier it becomes for you to survive and grow. The natural world is a part of your environment and your life. And if you truly wish to become productive and creative within your world, you will need to learn some of its languages. And the easiest and most enjoyable to learn is animals speak. There are many myths of a magical time and place in which there were no boundaries between humans and animals. Humans were at peace with the animals and spoke their language. It reflected a time of mingling between divine and human. Wild and tame had no meaning. Animals and humans could speak together, sometimes humans learning the animal tongue, and sometimes animals learning the human tongue. In our quest for the scientific and rational, we have come to look at nature and its elements as objects separate from us and simply to be studied. For many, this scientific approach to nature has destroyed the mysticism and spirituality surrounding it. It has burst its bubble of mystery. Nothing could be further from the truth. What science uncovers about nature should amaze us and fill us with even greater wonder at the magnificent expression of life in all its varied forms. It should teach us how intricately every aspect of nature is woven into our own existences. The animal world has much to teach us. Some animals are experts at survival and adaptation. There are times when we can use those same skills. Some animals never get cancerous conditions. Wouldn't it be wonderful to learn their secrets? Some are great nurturers and protectors. Some have great fertility, and others have great gentleness. Some embody strength and courage, while others can teach playfulness. The animal world shows us the potentials we can unfold. But to learn from them, we must first learn to speak with them. Animals have often been attributed with fantastic qualities, and if nothing else, this attribution helps us to appreciate the natural world more fully. Every animal is a gateway to the phenomenal world of the human spirit. What most fail to realize, though, is that what they think of animals reflects the way that they think of themselves. When we learn to speak with the animals, to listen with animal ears, and to see through animal eyes, we experience the phenomena, the power, and the potential of the human essence. And it is then that the animals are no longer our subordinates. They become our teachers, our friends, and our companions. They show us the true majesty of life itself. They restore our forgotten childlike wonder at the world, and they reawaken our lost belief in magic, dreams, and possibilities. If you talk to the animals, they will talk with you. And you will know each other. If you do not talk to them, you will not know them. And what you do not know, you will fear. What one fears, one destroys. By Chief Dan George. Part 1. Symbols in the Natural World. Realizing that visible bodies are only symbols of invisible forces, the ancients worshipped the divine power through the lower kingdoms of nature. The sages of old studied living things to a point of realization that God is most perfectly understood through a knowledge of his supreme handiwork. Animate and inanimate nature. Every existing creature manifests some aspect of the intelligence or power of the Eternal One. Chapter 1. The Spiritual and Magical Roles of Nature. There was a time when humanity recognized itself as part of nature, and nature as part of itself. Dreaming and waking were inseparable realities. The natural and the supernatural merged and blended. People used images of nature to express this unity and to instill a transpersonal kind of experience. In the past, shamans, priests, and priestesses were the keepers of the sacred knowledge of life. These individuals were tied to the rhythms and forces of nature. They were capable of walking the threads that link the invisible and visible worlds. They helped people remember that all trees are divine and that all animals speak to those who listen. The early priestess magicians would adopt the guise of animals, wearing skins and masks to symbolize a reawakening and endowing of oneself with specific energies. They performed rituals in accordance with the natural rhythms of the seasons to awaken greater fertility and life. To them, every species and every aspect of its environment had the power to remind them of what they could manifest within their own life. It was an aid to bridge the natural world to the supernatural, awakening the realities of both within the environs of their own lives. Though these rituals and behaviors may seem primitive and even silly to the rational minds of modern society, they are no less powerful today, and the laws which govern them, physical and spiritual, are no less viable. Different societies express these laws in their own unique ways, but probably the most distinctly expressed is the ancient Hermetic law of correspondence. As above, so below. As below, so above. This principle teaches that all things are connected and have significance. We cannot separate the physical from the spiritual, the visible from the invisible. This principle gives one the means of solving many a dark paradox and the hidden secret of nature. The ancient Hermeticists considered this principle as one of the most important mental instruments by which man was able to pry aside the obstacles which hid from view the unknown. It enables man to reason intelligently from the known to the unknown. It is for this reason that a study of nature totems is essential for understanding how the spiritual is manifesting within our natural life. A totem is any natural object, being, or animal to whose phenomena and energy we feel closely associated with during our life. We can use animal imagery and other nature totem images as a way to learn about ourselves and the invisible world. We do not have to believe that these images and totems are beings of great intelligence, but there are archetypal powers that reside behind and oversee all manifestations in nature. These archetypes have their own qualities and characteristics, which are reflected through the behaviors and activities of animals and other expressions of nature. When we pay attention to and acknowledge a nature totem, we are honoring the essence that lies behind it. We are opening up and attuning to that essence. We can then use it to understand our own life circumstances more clearly. We can share in its power or medicine. Nature totems, especially animals, are symbols of specific kinds of energy we are manifesting and aligning with in our life. The animal becomes a symbol of a specific force of the invisible spiritual realm manifesting within our own life. The characteristics and activities of these totems will reveal much about our own innate powers and abilities. By studying the totem and then learning to merge with it, we are able to call upon its archetypal energy whenever needed. Terrestrial animals have always had a strong symbology associated with them. They have represented the emotional side of life, often reflecting qualities that must be overcome, controlled, and/or re-expressed. They are also symbols of power, powers associated with the invisible realm that we can learn to manifest within the visible.